Joining us now for more on the nearly $370 billion climate portion of the Inflation Reduction Act, which, as we mentioned, if signed into law, will be the biggest investment into curbing the effects of climate change in U.S. history, is White House climate advisor Ali Zaidi. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Good to be on.
So for someone watching tonight who's wondering how they personally will be impacted by this bill, can you just walk us through the ways that people will benefit directly from this historic investment?
Yeah, this is gonna impact folks in their real lives right away. Number one, it's gonna help them access and afford clean energy technologies. So let's say you're out in the market for a used electric vehicle that costs $14,000. This bill will mean you can knock $4K off the top of that. You look around near your neighborhood, you got folks who are switching to solar on their roofs. This bill will help you get 30% tax credit to make that switch yourself, maybe be able to pay that system back in 3 to 5 years and harness the clean energy savings from that. For low and moderate income Americans, there's a $14,000 rebate to switch to electric heat, electric stoves, things that are going to help people save money.
And speaking of the climate pollution, the bill could also put the U.S. within striking distance of President Biden's goal of slashing emissions from 2005 levels in half by the time we get to 2030. That's the target that scientists say that we have to achieve, in fact, for the whole world to avoid catastrophic global heating. Is the hope here that this will encourage other countries to act more decisively as well?
Yeah, look, I was in Glasgow for the UN conference this past year. That was when the House was taking action on the Build Back Better legislation. And I'll tell you, folks from a bunch of countries all around the world were looking at the United States, wondering if we're going to step up, if we're going to drive the clean energy technologies and innovation manufacturing. They're excited to see us pick up the pace.
And earlier you mentioned electric vehicles. The bill has a tax credit for up to $7,500 for new electric car purchases. But the reality is that electric cars are still far too expensive for the average American. According to Kelley Blue Book, the average sticker price of an EV surged to $66,000 last year. Do U.S. automakers need to lower the price across the board of EVs for people to actually be able to go out and feel like they're affordable?
I think the prices are coming down in part for a few different reasons. Number one, the cost of that battery is coming down almost 90% since Joe Biden was here in the White House the last time working on the investments in battery manufacturing through the Recovery Act. 90%. As a result, there are now multiple models for each of the major automakers that are right in the middle of their set of offerings, vehicles at 40 or 50K. This will help drive down the prices further.
You did talk about how the parts need to be made here in the United States, and I do want to mention that the tax credit comes with that caveat that vehicles are only eligible for the credit if final assembly occurs within Northern America, and no critical minerals for batteries are sourced from a foreign entity of concern such as China or Russia. Automakers, though, have expressed concern as of right now that there are limited sources of critical minerals in the U.S. How do you respond to that?
Well, number one, I do think there's a tremendous amount of potential to make these vehicles here in the United States, and our auto workers are excited to gear up and make those vehicles. And then in terms of the critical minerals, yeah, we've got to bring those supply chains here to the United States. We've got to build them from, from the initial input materials to the refining capacity to the parts that go into the batteries.
Before you go, the bill does include a provision that no less than 60 million acres of federal waters must be offered for oil and gas leases each year before similar offshore wind permits are made available. Do you see any contradiction in that?
Look, this bill is a product of compromise. Without compromise, there would not be a bill. And this bill is going to result in the largest, most significant step forward on climate in the history of this country. For every 1 ton of greenhouse gas pollution that might result from some of the fossil provisions here, there are 24 tons of upside. So a 24-to-1 ratio, a significant step forward, bigger than we've ever seen before in the country.
Ali Zaidi, White House climate advisor, we thank you so much for your time.
Thanks so much.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.